Welcome back, everyone, to A to Zett Podcast, a podcast where we talk about everything Ultraman under the sun. I am John and Orgime, and I'm joined, as always, by my lovely co-host.
Hello everyone, I am Dr. Swooce, the science scientist, the dimensional doctor, and the madman with no plan. And today we are going to be talking about some news.
That's right. But before we talk about any news, we got a little bit of housekeeping we kind of need to take care of.
You may have noticed
we haven't recorded.
Yeah, we haven't been here in a few months. I know we weren't super consistent before, but it's been really rough. There is kind of a reason for that.
Yeah, and I'm not going to get too much into detail, but I feel like y'all deserved at least some explanation. I was in a significant, almost near fatal car accident, but everyone's good now. But because of that, I had a lot of stuff I had to take care of, and there was just a lot of things that I needed time to deal with. But everything's good now, so hopefully we can work towards a more regular schedule. That's our goal.
That's
but
right.
No promises.
We're back, baby. And that means we're going to be doing one episode a day for the next month. No, I'm kidding. No,
that's not going to happen.
That would literally kill me. But
yeah.
No, we are back, and to ease our way back in, and since it's been a while, we're going to be talking about some of that good there news.
That's right. We've missed quite a lot.
A lot's happened. We'll talk about briefly what's already come and passed. Obviously, we won't be doing speculation because it's already over with. But there is still some stuff coming up, so hey, let's get on to it. So the first thing,
that's right.
We're talking about.
The first thing is kind of like a recap on some of the Mill Creek releases that we've had. I think around the last couple times, or the last couple releases we had last time, I think were the Ultraman 80 DVD set and the Ultraman 1979 anime set. I think those were the last ones we kind of talked about. And we've had quite a lot of releases since then.
And then not only that, we've had news for upcoming releases as well.
That's true. So first off, we had the Ultraman Zero, the Chronicle set, which I have some complaints. So, do you remember when we got news for the first two Zero Blu-ray sets?
I remember you were very excited.
Right, and remember how I said that it was missing Ultra Zero Fight?
Yes, I do vaguely remember that.
Right, well, remember when I said that if it were me, I would release Ultraman Zero the Chronicle with Ultra Zero Fight included so that it would be a reason to purchase this series. Because, you know, this is kind of like a clip show series of all of Zero's stuff put together.
And then they kind of did that, except it's still two different DVD sets.
Kind of didn't do that, though.
Oh, no?
Because it's not right.
Explain.
They don't have Ultra Zero Fight in its entirety. It's not included in its entirety. It's included as part of two episodes of the clip show series, where the first episode is part 1 truncated to about 5 minutes. So it's about an hour long. So Ultra Zero Fight has two parts, and both of them are kind of like 45 minutes to an hour long. But the first part was truncated to just the last like 5 minutes or so, and then part 2 was shown in its entirety. So you don't even get the entirety of Ultra Zero Fight. And that is very annoying to me.
That's a really bizarre way to do it, like, at all, anyway.
Yep, and to pour some salt in the wound, it's stacked discs.
Oh, right. They don't even have like their own little leaflets because it's not Blu-ray, right?
No, it is. This is Blu-ray, and a lot of times they have like the Blu-ray that has like the the case that has the 4 slots, where it's got the little 2-sided thing in the middle. It's got one on the left cover, one on the right cover, and then the little thing that's 2-sided in the middle.
Right. Oh, but
it holds 4 discs.
Oh, but this is like the one where it's like it's 4 discs, but they're all in the same little peg, essentially.
Well, sort of. It's the 2 pegs, so 2 of them are stacked on each other. And collectors just don't like stacked discs because it makes it easier to be damaged.
I mean, yeah, it's a silly way to do it anyway. It's like there's a lot of risk of breaking things. That longer peg likes to grip the discs.
Yeah, and when you're trying to pull the disc off, you could snap it in half. It's frustrating. So, would I recommend this release?
I mean, it's
if
still
you want
zero.
To be a completionist, maybe. But
I recommend it. It's still 0.
Yes, but if you get the other 2 releases, you're getting everything that's included in this. You see what I'm saying?
Okay, yeah, I guess I see what you're saying.
So, I mean, I bought it anyway because I'm a Ultraman Zero fanboy, but this might be one of the first ones I can honestly say I might not recommend. Because there's just too many issues with it. But
which is rather unfortunate.
It is. And I wish... Basically, I looked into it, and they don't have the rights to release Ultra Zero Fight for some reason. Because it was originally aired in a clip show series called Ultraman Retsuden, and it debuted in that. So for some reason, there's like copyright gray area that made it to where they couldn't release it in its entirety, and they could only release it in this clip showed version. I don't know. It's just annoying.
But otherwise, it's a great watch.
Yeah, I hate to have to be negative about it, but...
Especially since he's your favorite. I mean, it always sucks when, like... I mean, you're always going to be more hypercritical of the thing you like the most, but at the same time with this one, they clearly did some, a practice that doesn't seem conductive to making a clean and concise release.
Right. But other than that, I would say that's probably the only negative I have to mention with the Mill Creek releases, because they've been absolutely crushing it. Just recently, like the past week or so, Superior 8 Ultra Brothers and Ultraseven X were both released on Blu-ray, and mine just came a couple of days ago.
Oh, have we not hit the time yet where we're gonna stop getting Blu-rays and like it's only gonna be like DVD? Or
I believe these are the last Blu-rays.
Ah, I see. A tad unfortunate, but hey, at least these are going to be good, right?
Right, yeah. So Superior 8 Ultra Brothers is a film that I don't know if it takes place during Mebius or after Mebius, but is a Mebius-related film that has a lot of the Showa-era actors returning and reprising their roles, as well as Tiga, Dinah, and Gaia are in there. I don't know if their actors are in there, but the suits are in there. So it's supposed to be a really good film. I haven't watched it, and I'm going to wait until I watch the respective series to watch it. But a lot of people really like it.
Yeah, I mean, understandable. I've kind of been doing that with Ultraman a little bit, because Tubi is a wonderful resource.
It is. I really want them to go ahead and put Tiga, Dinah, and Gaia on Tubi because it just make it so much easier for me to watch them. I own them, but TV time is a lot easier when I can watch it on my computer and not have to have a TV. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, I mean for me it's like, well, I'm having a slow day at the office. There's not a lot of work coming in, so let's just watch an episode of something.
Right. So the other release was Ultraseven X, which I gotta be honest, don't know too much about it. I do know it was a shorter series, like 12 or 13 episodes, and it's a canon sequel of Ultraseven, where Ultraseven merges with a new host and is like a little side story kind of thing. So,
And he's actually an Ultraman this time instead of just he might be the same race.
right. Did I said that right. I said Ultraseven, right?
You said Ultraseven X.
Okay, making sure I didn't say Ultraman 7, because that's not right. Yeah, so the next release is Ultraman Mebius, and his included films are going to be on DVD May 24th. So this is where, like you mentioned, we're starting to get to everything else is going to be on DVD because they're not... Mill Creek is not allowed to release them on Blu-ray yet because whether it's they don't have HD remasters or they do and it hasn't been released on Blu-ray yet in Japan, or there's other factors that it could be, but basically for them to be able to release everything else, it has to be on DVD for now. And then in the future, when they get the rights to release it on Blu-ray, they will turn around and re-release it on Blu-ray. But they're releasing it on DVD so we have everything released. And some people are upset that it's not on Blu-ray, but I get it, and I'm just glad we have it, period. But for Mebius, it comes with not just the series, but it comes with Ultraman Mebius Gaiden Hikari Saga. So that's a side story about Hikari. Ultraman Mebius Gaiden Armored Darkness. Don't know what that is.
Wait, is Hikari just from Mebius? Is that where he debuted in?
Yeah, he's kind of like a secondary rider kind of thing.
Oh, I see. I wasn't really sure where he comes into play. Like, I figured he was like a secondary in something, but I didn't know for sure. And
Yeah,
obviously, I've never seen Mebius, so.
Right, yeah, he's from Mebius. And then there's Ultraman Mebius Gaiden Ghost Reverse, and then the film Ultraman Mebius and Ultra Brothers. So
Mebius seems to have had a lot of content. Do people like really like Mebius, or is he another one of those where he was made in a time where we needed to keep pushing one thing to make money?
Maybe a little column A, a little column B, but Mebius was like a love letter to the Showa era. So it was a lot of fan favorites because in Mebius itself, the Showa era Ultras return, and then I don't know about this movie, but one of the Mebius movies, whether it's the Superior 8 Ultra Brothers or if it's the Ultraman Mebius and the Ultra Brothers,
Probably
I don't
that
know
one.
which one, but basically they have some of the cast returning. I've seen clips of like an old Hayata and an old Dan Moriboshi transforming. So they get the actors back. So that's really cool. And I've heard from people who have watched Mebius that it is like a love letter to the Showa era, and if you love the Showa era Ultras, then you're going to love Mebius. So that's why I'm kind of going through the Showa era Ultras right now, and then after I finish that, then I'm gonna watch Mebius, because I think personally I will get more enjoyment out of Mebius having seen the show era Ultras.
I mean, I feel you on that too. I like to watch the shows, like especially if I can stomach them in order.
Right.
And I mean, in the original Ultraman, we finally finished that. I mean, that was a while ago now, but we did finish it. So, or I finished it, and you finished it with me because you happened to be around for the last few episodes.
Right.
But yeah, no, I still, even at the end, I will agree that the old Ultraman shows were good. So.
Yeah, and at this point I've seen Ultraman, Ultraseven, and Ultraman Leo. And I'm going to start Return of Ultraman at some point. But that's, let's see, after that, that'll be Ace, Taro, and 80 left. So I'm around halfway between the Showa era, so we're getting there.
Right on. But,
yeah, so...
I don't know, I thought I had a point, and then I didn't. I'm sorry.
Oh, you're good, bro. Moving on, we got announcements for the next 2 releases after the Mebius release. These are both going to be on DVD. So we've got...
I'm excited for this first one.
We've got the Ultraman Zearth 1 and 2 DVD combo pack.
So wait, they made it 2 DVDs, but they still bundled them together.
Well, I don't know if both films are going to be on a single disc or if it's going to be 2 discs, but it's a combo pack in the sense that it has both movies on it.
Okay, sure, why not? I mean,
we're just arguing semantics at this point, but
I mean, hey, however they want to do it, seems like I feel like they could have put that even on a DVD on 1 disc because the Zearth stuff's not long.
Well, I mean, if they put it on 1 disc or 2 disc, it doesn't really matter. It's still 1 release, you know?
True, at least it's still just 1 release. I don't have any complaints about it. I'm just wondering why they did it this way.
I mean, would you have rather have bought 2 separate movies and bought Zearth 1 and Zearth 2?
No.
Well then,
but I just said I wasn't complaining.
I'm just confused by your apprehension's not the correct word, but you seemed taken aback by it. And
I'm not so much taken aback. I just find it strange they're doing it this way when I feel like they could do it as 1 disc. But I mean, it's still bundled in 1 package, so it doesn't matter.
Well, I mean, it legitimately might be 1 disc. I don't know. Yeah, I'm just saying you get both movies for this release. I don't know if they're gonna put it on 1 disc or 2 discs, and it doesn't really matter to me. But they're good movies. They're really funny.
They are indeed. I definitely enjoyed it.
Yeah, and I highly recommend people you pick these up. So as just standard, I recommend all of these Mill Creek releases, with the exception of maybe the Zero Chronicle disc, because if you buy the other 2, you've got pretty much the same thing. And they're in like movie form and not cut up as clip show episodes. And then the second release that they announced was Ultraman Kids 3000, the complete series. And both of these have a tentative release date of June 28th.
No.
And they're both on
Ultraman
DVD.
Kids 3000? Is this like one of those animated things that you've shown me?
This is the animated thing that you said looked like Nightmare Fuel.
I will keep the sentiment, but I don't remember what you're talking about.
Remember where they're like children, but they have faces.
Like the Ultras are kids?
Yeah. I'll get to send you a picture real quick. Obviously this is not something we could put in there because it's a audio podcast, but
Maybe if you are on the YouTube channel, I might put it up. I don't know.
that's just going to be more work for you.
It's not that much more work.
I don't know. That's up to you. And then
Shameless plug, subscribe to the YouTube channel.
that's right.
Oh gosh, this thing. Okay. Yeah. Now I remember. In fact, I have not watched this, but I remember the poster.
Yeah, I remember showing you maybe just images at that point, and you said, this is nightmare fuel. I don't share the same sentiment. I don't think it's creepy. I think it's cute.
I don't know. Look, just Google a picture of him, you guys. If like you're listening to like one of the other sites, but it's just weird to me. Like maybe that's just me. It might just be me, but I don't know.
No, it's not just you, because I've heard other people make the exact same, like opinion that they also find it creepy. But I don't understand what people. My only guess is that it's like triggering people's uncanny valley a little bit, and it's like freaking them out a little bit. But that's, to me, it doesn't look creepy. It looks cute.
I don't know. I think it's a bit like they're trying too much to make parts of the helmets be facial features, and that's like what's doing it weird.
Well, I think Ultraman Graffiti does the chibi cute a whole lot better.
Is that the one that's like the domino thing?
No, that was the M78 theater special, but that also does it better. The Graffiti is the salary man one where he's on the train.
Oh, that one, yeah, and like he hangs out with like Zett and stuff, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Both of those do it better. I agree. But we're not getting those released, and we're getting this released. So I'm gonna buy it. You know, if it's good, it's good. If it's bad, it's bad. But
hey, Super Riot,
it.
Release the chibi that we want, the chibi that we deserve.
I mean, if they did a Ultraman Graffiti and Ultraman M78 theater special release, or the Ultraman 1 and 2 set, if they release all of those, I'll buy them all. Do a whole big combo pack of all the animated specials. But anyway, I think we kind of said what we were going to say on that. So,
yeah, well, that's all that. Yeah, moving on.
Yeah,
Next
moving
is,
on. Basically, I was thinking, you know, they've released so many. What else do we have left? And I remember I did a huge kind of list maybe around a year ago.
I thought we had a spreadsheet of this at one point.
Yeah, we did. And we've gotten quite a lot on that list, and we've also gotten confirmation of some of the stuff not being released. But basically what we know for certain that is going to be released is Ultraman Max on DVD, the complete series, Ultraman Nexus, the complete series, along with Ultraman the Next film, Ultraman Cosmos, and all of his films, of which there are many, and Ultraman Neos, which is a short 12-episode miniseries that I just recently watched.
And you said these are the ones that are definitely confirmed. Like, we're getting all of them.
These are the ones that are definitely confirmed.
But anything other than this, it's like, we don't know. Is that right?
anything other than this, we either have confirmation that they do not have the rights to it, or we do not have confirmation one way or the other, and it's up in the air. But this is what we have left that we know for a fact they're releasing.
I mean, there's still some really good ones left. Like, I'm excited
know.
for Cosmos and Nexus.
I'm excited for all of these. I hear Max is really good too.
I don't think I've ever heard anything about Max. Like, I don't think you've ever talked to him to me, so I don't really know.
I haven't seen any of it. But there are several episodes that people talk about being some of the best episodes of Ultraman. Like, there's an episode where the character goes back in time and meets Tsuburaya as a child. And it's like some weird kind of like Twilight Zone kind of thing where
that
it's
sounds
like
familiar.
a self-fulfilling prophecy that kind of creates his own creation or something. I don't know. But apparently it's supposed to be really good. And it's a more traditional Ultraman. It came out directly after Nexus. And you know how different a departure Nexus was.
Oh boy, do I.
They stirred the ship really hard and went really traditional Ultraman with Max.
I think that's a fair thing to do. Like, I don't know how well Nexus did. I liked it, but it certainly is it's different.
Yeah. And you haven't finished it yet. I have, but Nexus, in my opinion, is good, and I like it for what it is, but if it was the direction that Ultraman went as a whole, I wouldn't be happy with it. But as a one-off, I enjoy it.
I think that's the thing is, like, departures are nice, but as a whole, yes, sometimes, like, maybe like, okay, this was an experiment we did this year, and it's done. Let's move on.
Yeah. And that's all I got to say about that. You got anything else you want to say? Well, I'm hoping that when we get to the end, that's the time when Mill Creek goes back to Tsuburaya and knocks on their door and is like, hey, you know the stuff that's released since we struck our deal? Let's get a deal for that now. That's my hope.
Oh.
Ultraman Zett. Taiga,
yeah, that's really
Trigger.
cool. I would really like to see, like, the new generation stuff start getting Mill Creek releases or something like that.
Yeah, the stuff that's been after Rube. But
did Rube get one? I can't remember.
Yeah, Rube is the newest one that they got.
Okay, yeah. Well, I didn't really finish Taiga, so that'd be nice to, like, maybe go back and watch that again.
Right. Okay. Another interesting thing is we got the Ultraman YouTube channel past 2 million subscribers on YouTube, and they had a nice live stream with 2 mini stage shows and 2 Q&A sections with some of the Ultra actors. And it was really... I was unable to watch it the time it aired, and you were streaming when it airs, because that stuff always happens on Friday night, and you're always streaming at that time.
Yes,
so,
it's all unfortunate. I have to do what I can when I can. But hey, I enjoy it. Come check me out. Dr. Swooce, Twitch TV.
That's right.
Shameless plug.
Sorry, not sorry. But the best thing about that is they've been re-uploaded to YouTube, and I think they're still there. They were the last time I checked. So if they're still up there, you can go and watch them, and they've subbed everything. So you've got the stage shows subbed, so you understand the dialogue. They've got the Q&As subbed, so you can understand the questions and answers, and it's great. It's a great time. I highly recommend going over there, giving them likes, giving them a subscribe, giving them a the watch time, go and check it out. Showing them support directly through their YouTube channel shows them that there is a Western audience for Ultraman, and that the more we engage with their platform, the more they're willing to give us more stuff to engage with. So
Yeah,
I
definitely,
highly
yeah.
recommend to everyone going and subscribing, liking, watching, commenting, all the things you do
Go
on
ring their
YouTube.
bell, subscribe to their premium. No, you don't have to subscribe. Actually, I don't even think they have a YouTube Red, do they?
I don't know anything about YouTube Red.
Yeah. Well, then let's just go with no. But yeah, go interact with their stuff. If they get a lot of views, then that means they'll probably put more up stuff. 'Cause that
Yeah,
makes them
and
money.
as you know, they put out the new series shows on YouTube 30 minutes after they air in Japan, which is absolutely insane. Please, Toei, for the love of God, please take some of the path Super Raya has laid out for you.
I mean, they've got to see it's been working. And, like, with some of their series lately kind of falling off, looking at you, Sentai, now might be a good chance to be like, hey, let's officially release this so we can pull in that sweet, sweet foreign revenue.
Well, Sentai, there's still some weird, like, legal gray area with Hasbro now that they're a little gun shy about, or I guess that's the phrase. They're a little nervous to kind of jump in on that because there's some weird gray areas with Hasbro, but the Kamen Rider, they've got no problems throwing that in at full force. They should be treating Kamen Rider like Super Aya treats Ultraman and give everything. Which we're getting some stuff, and we'll talk about it towards the end of the episode. We are getting some stuff, but Super Aya is just killing it with so much content. And
Yeah, this is definitely a
Toei,
situation where it's like, hey, you've seen this is working. Why don't you do the same thing? Nobody's going to accuse you of being a copycat. We want this.
that's right. So go support that, and while you're over there, go to our YouTube channel and give us a subscribe.
Shameless plug.
Right. Another cool thing that happened, they actually announced this during that live stream, and then happened a little time after. I think it was March 18th is the day it came out, but Ultraman Trigger episode Zett, the film, opened in Japanese theaters on March 18th, and we were able to rent it for $5 to watch it the same day that it released in Japanese theaters at home on our computers with English subtitles. This is insane.
Really, really nice. I was like, hey, we got it, and it just came out. We have to wait half a year for somebody to maybe get a rip. No, nothing illegal had to happen. We got it legally. Heck yeah.
I am blown away by the amount of stuff they're able to give us now. Just give us more. I'm just so excited about it.
What else can they give us? They're pretty much giving us almost everything at this point.
I know. Just keep it coming. Don't let up.
Exactly. It is the time for Ultra to take the America by storm. Let's go.
Yeah.
Or all the other European countries that are now also able to do things.
Well, and you also got to realize too, when I say Western audience, I mean non-Japanese audience. There are tons of English-speaking Asian countries that are benefiting from this too, because they haven't been able to get a lot of the stuff translated in their language. So by getting it translated to English, they're able to watch a lot of the stuff that they weren't able to, you know? So it's not just America, it's all over the world are able to enjoy this stuff now. And also, it was $5 when it happened, but I think that was kind of like an early bird price, because if one, you can still rent it, but it's $7. But still, that's still less than a movie ticket.
I would also like to point out, it's not pay-per-view. It's a 2-day rental, right?
Right. It's a VOD you can watch as many times as you want, pause, rewind, and you can watch it as much as you want in that 2-day period. But actually, the $5 one was 2 days. I think the $7 one is longer than 2 days, but I'm not 100% on that. But you at least have 2 days.
Oh, well. Hey, if it's longer, that's even better.
Right.
So, hey.
Yeah.
There you go. You can watch it, tell your friends about it, have them all come over, have a movie night, watch it together.
Yeah, so that's ultramanconnection.com, and they're free to set up an account, so go do that. And this seems to be the way that Super Riot is going to be interacting with the English market. A lot of these things are going to be Ultraman Connection. I forgot to write this down, but we also found out that the Absolute Conspiracy, or not the Absolute Conspiracy, that was the one that's already out, the Destined Crossroads, it's originally a Super Riot Imagination. That's the Japanese streaming service. It was going to be a Super Riot Imagination exclusive, and we're going to be able to watch it through Ultraman Connection. So
okay, that's good.
Basically,
I remember
whatever.
being sad about it because we thought we weren't going to get it on the YouTube channel or like at all.
Right.
But
Right.
I mean, I'm sad because I can't watch it for free, but I understand. I'm like, I'll pay for that, sure.
I mean, I'm willing to pay for this. Like, this is what I want. It's like, I want this content. And for the longest time, we haven't been able to buy it. So
what am I going to do? Not pay for the content when I want to, when I've been asking for it?
That's what I'm saying. We've been asking for this, so of course I'm throwing my money at it. So, and it's affordable. It's not like they're asking an arm and a leg for it, you know? So, that's another exciting thing to look forward to. I don't have the specific details, but they've told us that it's on its way. Speaking of things
that's on its way.
Exactly, that's exactly what I was getting at. Speaking of things that are on its way, we have the next Ultraman revealed. We have Ultraman Decker, New Generation Dyna, for June 2022.
So yeah, it looks like they're keeping up the theme. So we're probably going to get a New Generation show one more time after this, probably?
Yeah, probably New Generation Gaia. And then hopefully after that they'll kind of switch gears and do something else, because I don't want a New Generation Cosmos, New Generation Mebius. They don't need to do.
I'm still excited for the show, but I'm kind of already done with the New Generation shows, especially since the new one, her Decker's whole thing is he's going back to cards again, for like the gimmick stuff.
Right.
I mean, it's still going to be a little bit different than it's been, because every time they do cards, it's a little different. And I don't just mean like in the transformation device, because this time it's like monster cards, isn't it?
Yeah, but every time they did cards, they have monster cards as well. Because Orb had monster cards and regular cards. X had monster cards mainly, but they also had the Ultra cards as well.
Oh yeah, that's true. I guess it's closer to X then.
Yeah. But yeah, so his like how Trigger was the new generation version of Tiga, Decker is the new generation version of Dyna. So his forms are very reminiscent of Dyna's forms. There's Decker Flash type, Decker Strong type, and Deca Miracle type. They are a lot more detailed than the Dyna suits. Tiga's...
They got the new generation treatment for the old suits.
Right. So Tiga's original 3 colors, or 3 suits, were just color swaps. So it was the multi-type, which was both the purple and the red, and then you had the sky type, which was all purple, and then what was the...
Power type.
Power type, thank you. Which was all red, so it was just a color swap. Then Trigger, thankfully, took that, but they made each suit different, so that it's not just a repaint. So, Decker definitely did that, where there are a lot more intricate designs as opposed to just color repaints.
Yeah, and speaking of designs, I don't know anything about Dyna, but did he have an asymmetrical suit? Because Decker does, and I think it looks really neat.
No, he didn't. He didn't have an asymmetric design. But the little thing that's on his forehead, the little point, was a different color for each suit. So the regular one was gold. When he was in the blue form, it was blue. And then whenever he was in the red form, it was red. And if you notice, Decker has like a cosmos kind of like galaxy pattern in both his chest and his forehead. And whenever he changes forms, the cosmos pattern in his forehead changes to that color associated with that form. So it's similar to that in that nature.
It also appears too that in the different forms, like the cosmosy pattern changes shape. That's pretty neat.
Right. And I do really enjoy the asymmetric arm design. It's something that Ultra doesn't do often, and trying to think of it now, I can't think of one that is asymmetric. Other than Fudaram from the bad guy, the blue bad guy from Trigger, he had an asymmetric design. But that's the only thing I can think of that had an asymmetric design. I may be wrong. But the designs are great. And as you said, there's cards. So he has the transformation device.
Oh god.
Dyna's original transformation device,
yeah,
was a stone like brick, and it had that face that is in the Decker one at the bottom, and then he pressed a button and the little thing flipped out. So it's similar to what the new one is, but it just looked like a poop log.
I mean, this thing, but the new one looks so silly.
Well, it looks so much better than Dyna's actual thing.
I mean, I guess it looks better, cool, but like, guys, this, like, if you see it, also the name of it too.
Well,
like, let's say, what did they call it, Gaim? What did they name the transformation device for Decker?
They named it the D-Flasher.
They named it the D-Flasher, and it already looks silly. Look, they're doing their best, and sometimes you just get a miss, but come on, guys.
Yeah. It's an unfortunate name. They should have ran that by an English speaker. Like, come on, guys. Like, really? But the little part that flips up has a cool LED on it that changes color depending on which card you put in it. And the back of... So the cards are the Ultraman form that he's changing into. And the back of the form is the Cosmos pattern. So when you put the card in it, it shows the Cosmos pattern through the device. There's like an opening that it shows through. So I thought that was kind of a neat design touch. And we've seen that. We've seen the card holder. There's more cards and card packs, the vinyls, etc. We kind of got the initial dump of information.
Yeah, I'm ready for the official Decker card book to hold the cards and display them. It probably won't happen, but hey, it'd be neat.
They did one for Orb, I think.
They? Oh, well, maybe we'll get one.
So. Probably. We also got, I don't remember the dude's name and I didn't write it down, but we saw the host, our main character of Decker. We've seen him, and we were told that it is a sequel series to Trigger, and it takes place 10 years after Trigger's ending.
I mean, at least our boy is back, kind of, so, hey. Oh, but he probably won't be in it, you know?
Is he, though? We don't know if he's going to be in it or not. We just know it takes place
I
in
said he
Trigger's
was
universe.
Back. I didn't say he was in it.
That's true. Well, from what I understand loosely, I don't know much about Tiga and Dinah because I haven't seen them, but from what I understand, Dinah also was a sequel series to Tiga in the sense that it took place 10 years after Tiga in the same universe. But I don't think the Tiga characters were in it, so to speak. So I don't know how much we're going to cross over, but I have a theory. You want to hear my theory?
Yeah, please enlighten us. What is your theory on how they're going to cross over?
Remember when I got the Guts Falcon toy?
Oh, right. Oh, I know where you're going with this, but yes, continue.
And I made an observation that there were connection ports on the back of the Guts Falcon that were not being used, and thought, when the Nurse Dese comes out, I wonder if this will connect to the Nurse Dese and make, like, a head or an attack or a tail or something.
Or just docks to it, anything really.
Or, well, it does dock to it, but it uses different posts. So I was curious to see, and then when I got the Nurse Dese, I was like, these ports are still not being used. So I was thinking maybe they're going to do like a second ship that combines to it. Well, that never happened. But since we know that this is being connected to that, now I'm thinking the ship for Decker is going to be that thing that combines to Guts Falcon. Because if you noticed in the trailer that we got that showed off the forms and the host, they also show the Guts Falcon and the Nurse Dese present. So I'm thinking both of these things are going to carry over. A, they don't have to build a new set for a ship. They've got the Nurse Dese set already, and they don't have to build a new one.
All they have to do is like update it somewhat.
Exactly. They don't have to build a new one. That's just going to save some production money there. And I completely think, okay, maybe this is the thing that's going to connect to that, and that's going to be the new thing. I'm excited to find out, because I like them. They're fun. They're fun toys. And that's my theory.
Indeed. Yeah, and I do agree. Also, I can't remember, didn't Dinah have something like that as well?
Well, at that time, the ships didn't really transform all that much. They didn't do...
But I'm saying Dinah had, like, an upgraded version of the Guts Falcon, or whatever their...
Right. They were called, Super Guts. Yeah, so it was Guts for Tiga, and then they were called Super Guts.
But
So
Super
they
Guts
definitely
had a different
had
ship, right?
they had different ships for sure, but I think they also had. I could be mistaken. I really don't know enough about it to say. But
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
yeah. But I'm excited to find out, and I'm excited to find out more information about Decker. And while I didn't enjoy Trigger that much as a whole, there were a lot of things I really enjoyed, and I really enjoyed towards the end and the movie. So
I like Trigger.
I don't dislike Trigger. It was just there was a lot of things that I didn't like about it, but I'm excited to see where Decker goes, and
All right, well, we can save all
I'm
that
excited.
for another day. That's
Exactly.
a whole topic we'll delve into. 2 hours.
For sure. Right. Yeah, when we finally end up talking about Trigger, I'll go in more depth. But moving on, Shin Ultraman has a release in Japan of May 13th. Or sorry, yeah, Friday the 13th. Dun dun dun.
So like a month from now in Japan.
Yeah.
But that's not for us. Like we know we're getting it as a movie. Like they did confirm that.
Do
right?
we though? Do we though?
I
know
we did.
you mentioned that. I know you mentioned that to me, and that somebody else mentioned that to me. But then I did some research, and I could find no official sources on that. So I am saying it's rumored that we're getting a theatrical release, but it is not confirmed that we are getting a theatrical release. I assume we are, because Shin Godzilla got a limited United States theatrical release in 2016. So I would assume, even if it's in a limited capacity, or we pay them $10 to watch it on Ultraman Connection, which I'm fine with either way.
Well, I mean, I'll definitely do it on Ultraman Connect if that's the option.
I'd rather see it on the big screen, absolutely.
Yeah, big screen. You can't beat it, and like Ultraman Big Boy needs to be seen on the big screen.
No, I completely agree. But if they are not getting a US theatrical run, I would rather watch it this way than not having watched it at all. You get me?
Well, I think I might be in the well, cool. You've given me a taste, but now give me the whole meal. Keep giving me what I want. Situation, Subaraya. Come on.
Well, I get that, but I just want to see it. I'm excited for the film.
Yeah, same. No, I do want to see it as well. And speaking of rumors and stuff with the Shin things, we also saw like we don't really know if it's gonna be anything at this time. Like, there's still been no more news on it. But I would like to bring up like the Shin Universe poster that we did get. It's just a poster. It's not anything related to it. That had Shin Godzilla, Shin Ultraman, and Shin Kamen Rider on it. And I think Evangelion as well, right?
Yeah, it was. But when that dropped, everyone got their hopes up. And if you saw a lot of the articles being written, it was like, Shin, blah, 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 brand new cinematic universe, throw in the tagline of MCU for clickbait. That's not what this is. It's not even a actual, like, media production. That's not what this is. This is a clothing / product line. It's a poster for a pop-up shop that'll eventually pop up, and they will sell crossover Shin merch, cups, shirts, stationery, keychains, etc. Probably vinyls. And that's what this is. Now, that's not to say that a crossover special can't happen or that it's off the table. But that's not what this was.
Be fair though, if even if it wasn't, it generated a lot of buzz. So
No, I get it.
so
But
it could be a thing too that's like, well, we didn't consider that, but seeing how accidentally people got excited for it, maybe.
No, absolutely. And like I said, it doesn't mean that that can't happen. It's just a lot of people got excited over something that wasn't what they thought they were going to get excited for. And I just don't want people to be disappointed and either resent the property or be mad because it wasn't what they ended up wanting. Because if you...
I mean, that's
we've
fair. That's
discussed
why, even before I was saying, it's like, well, we don't know what it is.
right, and that's why I've been trying to put out the expectation fires. Like, all right, guys, temper your expectations, because I just don't want people to get all bent out of shape over expecting something and it just doesn't happen. Because a lot of people can be turned off of a franchise or a creator because they expected them to do something one way and it didn't happen that way, and they get angry and turn on at something. You know, guys, with all types of media, your expectations are what sets whether or not you like it. If you have expectations and it meets or exceeds your expectations, you'll probably like it. If it doesn't meet your expectations, you will be disappointed and probably not like it. But if you temper your expectations to where they're low, not saying, oh, I enjoy any amount of garbage that people throw at my way, not saying that, but if you have realistic expectations for what you're going to see, then for the most part, you'll get enjoyment out of most of these things.
You see, I definitely feel that, especially recently, because I recently saw the second Sonic movie. And having seen the first movie, my expectations were, I just hope it's somewhere in that ballpark, and I hope they don't ruin any of the characters. But without going into anything on that, the movie was very enjoyable, and I liked it a lot. So,
right.
So definitely a case in point how, I'm not saying low expectations, but managed expectations are a good thing to have, because if it had been bad, I wouldn't have been crushed.
Right.
But it was good, and it was very exciting.
Right. Because you had low expectations, and it surpassed those expectations, so you were excited, and you had a fun time. So, managing expectations is a key thing that we all need to learn, and will help us remain positive.
This PSA has been brought to you by A to Zett Podcast and Ultraman Podcast.
That's right. Some more information. By the time this is uploaded, it'll probably already be out, but from where we are, this coming up Friday is the season 2 of the Ultraman Netflix anime.
Now, time to go ahead and break the rule we just set, because I'm really excited for this.
Oh, I am, as we've said, I have moderate expectations that I feel like I'm going to enjoy it, and I don't know anything else about it, except that there's going to be a lot of different characters in it because of promotional material, but other than that, I'm going to watch it, and it's going to happen. And that's my expectation for it.
I just want out of it what I got out of the first one, which I wasn't expecting any type of story or any type of things to happen. I just wanted it to be good, and it was. So, yeah. I mean, and I think the animation style is still the same, right? So.
It is. I definitely, for the first one, it took me a while to get used to the animation. I'm still not super into the animation style, but that's what they're going for, so I'm just dealing with it. But when it's characters speaking and there's dialogue and exposition and stuff like that, the animation is eh. But when they do the fight scenes, the transformations, all of that stuff, the animation is top notch. it looks amazing. So I can, while it's not my favorite style of animation, that's what they went with. So I kind of just, it's not my favorite animation, but I'm just going to put that aside so I can enjoy the story. And because of that, I really enjoyed this first season. So I'm just hoping for more of the same, just enjoy it. And I think it's going to be a fun time. So I'm looking forward to it.
Here, here. Okay, so, but other than that, what do we have left? I think everything else is kind of like old news at this point.
Well, there's some old news, there's some new news. It's mixed up, but that is what we have as far as Ultraman. The next thing we have some miscellaneous news with Sentai, Power Rangers, a couple of other little things, and then we're going to end on the Kamen Rider news. As we always do.
As we do. All right.
The first thing we've got is a Power Rangers headline. There was a Deadline exclusive interview, or whatever. You know how journalists, they have like an exclusive or whatever. They put out a thing with Jonathan Entwistle, Jonathan Entwistle is the guy that is heading the new Power Rangers entertainment division, program, initiative, whatever word you want to throw in at right there. They're trying to make him the Kevin Feige for the new Power Ranger stuff.
And for those of us who don't know, what did he do already?
What?
For those of us who don't know, who is he? Like, what has he done already that we should care?
I don't know. I'm
sorry.
I didn't see much. I'm not saying he doesn't have a resume, but it wasn't like, oh, I know this guy from this thing. I know this guy from this thing. I didn't recognize any of the stuff, but it's not like he hasn't done anything. I just didn't personally recognize any of it. But they're trying to make him kind of like the guy that's head of all this, so that the movement or the entity, the project, the franchise has a united direction it's heading towards. And they're trying to build their own Power Rangers cinematic universe, which, take that with what you will.
And this is still going to be separate
MCU
from the other, the other live action Power Ranger movie. Well, I guess they're all live action. The other Power Ranger movie we got a couple years ago that I guess didn't do so well. It's not based on that though, right?
Right. It's separate because Lionsgate owns the right to that, and they don't, because this is going to be with Hasbro has their own production studio that the Transformer stuff comes through, and I think that's like it's either Paramount or Universal or one of them. Anyway, it's not Lionsgate, so it's a different studio, so they don't have the rights to that. But because of the MCU being so successful with the cinematic universe thing, everybody and their mother wants their own cinematic universe, and most of them have failed, except for the MCU. But they're going to try to do this by having a united front with both the movie franchise as well as the TV franchise. They want to have, whether it's the same team or the same universe or whatever the TV ends up being, if the TV is live action or a cartoon or whatever, and of course, the movies are going to be live action. Whatever that ends up being, we don't know what that looks like. We don't know what that's going to be. We don't know if it's going to be based off of a previous team, like being a reboot of MMPR, or if it's going to be a completely brand new team, brand new whatever.
And
we don't know anything.
And you see, I don't even know like if it's even something I'll personally care about, because a lot of like personally for me like Ranger material that's been released or like being expounded upon, I just don't want anything to do with it. Like I don't care for any of the comics, and like I don't care for a lot of the recent shows that they've made.
Yeah.
I feel like it's a lot of it's not for me type stuff.
Well, that's right. It's not for us. They're not making it for us. They're making it for a younger audience, but it's like for what they think a younger audience wants. It's not, well, the comics is for adults, and a lot of people are really, really enjoy it. I think you're in the minority of people not enjoying the comics. Not that you've read many of them, but you are not a fan of the comics, and most people in our circles are a fan of the comics. What I mean is, like, with the most recent Sentai adaptations, it feels like they're playing towards what they think kids like, as opposed to what kids like, and it feels like they're talking down to kids, as opposed to talking to kids like they're adults, because kids don't want to be talking down to. They want to be talked to like they're a person. And if you talk down to them, they're not going to want to watch what you got going on. So, this is supposed to be like a not targeted to the young person, but also not targeted like dark or gritty. They're trying to like hit that MCU Marvel movie area where it's enjoyed by families, people our age, people 20 years older than us, people
right.
40 years older than us.
It's really hard to hit a catch-all.
Kids can watch it.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
And kids can watch it. You know what I mean? And you're right. It is an extremely hard thing to do. But that's kind of what they're going for, you know? It's not trying to be too kiddie, and it's not trying to be too dark. So, other than just those vague terms and the fact that they've partnered with Netflix with it, other than those, we don't really know what this is going to be. And I am mainly excited to see what that is. I'm not necessarily excited for the project, because like I said, we don't know what it is. But I'm excited to see what that project is. Because it's intriguing to me that they're not going to be adapting a Sentai series. And that is what's interesting to me.
Yeah.
Because that's what Power Rangers has always been.
That's true. So it is interesting to see that they're trying to do new stuff. I think I would be more okay with them doing their own thing wholly.
And I think that's what they're going for. Honestly, I think that's what they're going for.
And also, like, a lot of, like, the newer Sentais, I would be interested to see how they would be adapted, but I feel like it'd also be a bit jank. Because, like, a lot of the ones we've had recently, like, they could probably do Kira Major just fine, but take Dawn Brothers, like, what's we're having right now, I don't think that would translate well. I don't think Zenkaiger would translate well. But, like, and I know, like, I like Zenkaiger a lot. And then I don't think Q Ranger would do well either.
I think Q Ranger would be the only one that they could actually do well
and with. I don't think Lupin Ranger and Pato Ranger would do well. Like,
yeah.
I don't know. Like, clearly they'd have to change it some. But I really don't. I don't know. I don't feel like they would be able to do them justice or just do them right, you know?
Right.
But that's also saying, like, I've seen how they did Ryu Soldier. And,
people like Dino Fury. It's still not for me, but me and you, we love Go Busters, you know? But Beast Morphers is, like, you know?
I think that's almost
So,
why I want them to do their own thing, because it's like I can't see them, or I don't want to see them ruin the ones I enjoyed anymore. Like
well,
it's like
for me,
because before it's like always like, well, I watched Power Rangers like when I was a kid, so
right,
they couldn't ruin Sentai for me because I didn't watch Sentai, I didn't know what it was,
right,
and now I watch
right.
Sentai and I don't watch Power Rangers, and it's like this is bad.
Yeah, and I get it. It's not for me. For me, it's not that they're ruining it because I can still watch the Sentai and enjoy it. You know, it doesn't magically erase it, but I just prefer the Sentai in most cases. And the Power Ranger seasons that I still enjoy are the ones I grew up on. You know, so there's that nostalgic bias towards it
I mean,
because that was what I was introduced with first.
and I still
And
get
it
that
might
because
just
like
be
I went and I rewatched Lightspeed Rescue recently,
yeah,
or somewhat recently, and I was able to watch through all of it, and I wasn't upset by it or anything. It was like, this is good. This is still good. I like this.
yeah. And that's recency bias. You know, it's what you saw first is the one that you like more. So like if you watch the Power Ranger season before you watch the Sentai season, you might like the Power Ranger season more because of that. Or vice versa, if you watch the Sentai first, you're going to like the Sentai more. Now in my opinion, the Sentai are usually better quality than the Power Ranger ones in most cases, but that's my opinion. A lot of people may disagree with that. But with recency bias, it's the same argument as like sub versus dub, you know? If people like for an anime, if they watch the sub first or watch the dub first, that's usually the one they prefer.
No, like I'm a big that's the big thing I'm like definitely know better than anybody because I'll definitely like watch both. Like not like watch I mean both of the same show, but like I'll watch a sub or a dub. It just usually comes down to whichever one I was exposed to first is the one I want to watch. But
Exactly,
like
and that's
like
recency bias.
yeah, and it's definitely like when I try like Demon Slayer, I love Demon Slayer, but then I tried to watch it the other day with my cousin who was who has been watching it in English, and I was like, I can't do this, and so we did something else.
Ugh,
But then
I get
like
it.
we watched another anime, Jujutsu Kaisen, but we started that in English, and I thought it was fine. And then it came into the theater, and it's like, no, we have to like wait the specific time to watch it in English again because I don't want to watch the Japanese. I know I won't enjoy it as much.
Right, and that alone is what I think is the main factor in why people like one or the other for Super Sentai and Power Rangers. So I am just glad to see them trying something new, and I might actually enjoy it again because, like you, I just watched Sentai, and even recently I haven't watched that much Sentai, but I prefer the Sentai over the Power Rangers, except for just a handful that I grew up on. But yeah, that's all I gotta say about that. I'm just kind of excited to see what comes out of this.
Yeah, like I'll still probably give it a fair shot. More than likely, what'll happen is you'll hear about it first, and then you'll give it a fair shot, and then you'll be like, "Hey, come watch this," and I'm like, "Okay."
Right. That's usually what happens.
That's always what happens.
So moving along, I don't have a lot to say about this. I just wanted to mention it. There is a book that just came out. That's the Super Sentai Toy History Book 45, and it's basically a book full of all of the Megazords mecha, robots of Super Sentai for the past 45 years. And it's broken down by season, and it has all of the combinations, all of the transformations, and it even has images of the concept art that they drew for it before it went into production. And there's a lot of little things that are like lottery, exclusives, or this was like a black and gold version that was for this one thing, and it's a lot of little neat, cool things that you might not see a lot of. But it's also just cool to have a book full of the toys, you know? I just really enjoy it.
And like you can also, by looking through it, you can see how like Zord design theory has changed over the years as well.
Yeah,
and
it
like
definitely
neat
has.
things like that, of course.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I highly recommend the book. I don't think HLJ still has any in stock, but Toho Collectibles might. I don't know. But if you go, it's probably on Amazon Japan. And if you set up an Amazon Japan account, you'll have to sign in with PayPal, I think. Unless PayPal doesn't work, then anyway, you're able to ship from Amazon Japan to the United States. So it is a purchasable option for people if you're interested in the book.
And the rates aren't that bad. Like I've bought lots of rider gimmicks off of Amazon because sometimes they just sell out too quickly on HLJ.
That's right.
And I will stand behind HLJ as much as possible because I love that company and not because I'm sponsored by them, shameless plug. But yeah, no, HLJ is like really great because like they do their private warehouse. But still, like sometimes though, stuff just sells out. Like they're still like it's hard to think about it because I use them so much, but they are a small business still in a way. Right. And so like when it boils down to it, they're more of a middleman than anything.
Right.
So, and you know sometimes they just don't have many things, and then Amazon JP is definitely a good. It's like they'll ship it to you safe. Usually it gets here pretty fast, and the shipping's a bit cheaper because it is still a branch of Amazon.
Right.
So
and
it's not my
so y'all know.
Just
so y'all know. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
What I was saying was just so y'all know it's Amazon.co.jp.
Yeah. So like I was saying, so not my preferred way to get anything from Japan, but
Agreed.
it's a very adequate way to get it that works. Like you're not dissatisfied with it is what I'll be saying.
It's a reliable resource. It may not necessarily be the cheapest, but it's a reliable resource.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I just wanted to mention that, bring that to y'all's attention, and basically recommend y'all pick it up if y'all can, if you can find it for cheap. By the way, the retail price is like $25, so don't spend more. Usually for me, personally, I look at it like whatever double plus $10 for shipping, you know? So for this, I wouldn't spend more than $60. You get me? And that's including the shipping and middleman fees. That's my personal rule I do in my head. Whether I can decide, oh, this is marked up too much. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and speaking of also books that we can get that you shouldn't have to pay an arm and a leg for.
Right.
I believe both the Gorenger and the Rider original manga omnibus things came out, right?
They both came out, and they're both, you can get them at your local book retailer.
Hopefully.
Your Barnes & Noble, your Books A Million, your, I don't know any other
Second and Charles
bookstores. Yeah, I don't know any other bookstores besides that, so whatever your local one is, I'm sure they can order it for you. Also, it's on Amazon. The regular Amazon, your regular Amazon. So you can get that from them, and it's like I don't think they're more than $20 a piece, something like that. The Gorenger one is fairly short, but it's the length of like a normal thickness book, and it's pretty good. It's not bad, but it's kind of like you could tell it was written for a younger audience. So there's not a lot of depth to it. But it's fun, and it's a good read, and I recommend it. But the one, if you're only getting one, you have to buy the Kamen Rider one. It is so good. There are chapters that absolutely blew me away. My favorite chapter is the second chapter. And it's like super thick. Both of them are hardbound and are really nice quality. The paper's great. But the Kamen Rider one, it's the way Ishinomori was able to portray movement and
Mwah.
like
Chef's
visceral,
kiss. Like it feels
visceral
dynamic,
energy.
right?
Exactly.
Like,
it's very dynamic.
Have you ever like heard the saying like the pages feel alive? I think that's like
Yes.
the best way to describe it.
Yes, absolutely. Like there's like a visceral energy to it. And it might be 4 pages of one character falling. But it's a quick read because manga is more about the motion and the image as opposed to
There's a lot of
long
action
dialogue.
shots, so
Exactly. Where the Western comics, it's a lot more word balloons and it's a lot more dialogue heavy. But this is just, you feel the motion, and as someone who's an artist, I'm really rusty because I haven't done it in so long, and I'm really trying to get back into it. But I know how difficult it is to portray motion in a believable way in art, and man, it is. I cannot recommend this book enough, and I don't want to keep complimenting it because I don't want to create your expectations too high and be disappointed. But
ultimately,
just get it.
We've
really
enjoyed
good.
it, and it's high on our recommendation list. How about we leave it at that?
That is pretty much what I was going to leave it at. But yeah, get it. If you're only going to get one, get the Kamen Rider one. But I recommend both.
Right, but moving on to like our last piece of, let's just say, miscellaneous and also manga-related media. It's not even Sentai. Yes, so moving on to a final piece of literature that is not, it's not even toku, but it was really good, and it's getting a TV show, or an anime. As we recently read the first edition of Kaiju number 8. So I guess it's still kind of tangential, right?
Yeah, it's kind of genre related, but it's not, as you said, it's not a tokusatsu. It's a manga, and it's a really new manga. The second I think they're like 6 or 7 volumes deep in Japan, and the second volume was just released in English, like within the past week, and I have it, but I haven't read it yet.
Oh shoot, I didn't realize it came out. Yeah, I need to
yeah, I have it. It came out like last week. I haven't read it yet, but I'm super excited to read it, and it's really good. And after me and you were together the day I bought the first volume, and while I was driving, you pulled out the volume and just started reading it, and then we were gonna watch something, and I had to sit there and wait for you to finish reading the volume because you were just engrossed by it and wanted to finish it.
I mean, it was really, really good, and I didn't know when I'd have the chance to finish it if I didn't do it then.
Right, and then later I read it and kind of understood why you were pulled in by it. It was really, really good. I really enjoyed it, and I said to you, man, I really hope they make an anime adaptation of this.
And then guess what, we find out, like, literally a week, I think, after... No, it wasn't even a week. I think it was the next day.
3 days.
Yeah, like, within the next few days.
Like 3 days. Yeah, within 3 days or 4 days.
Within the week,
Less than
sure.
a week. Less than a week after we mentioned this, we found out that Toho Animation is going to do the Kaiju number 8 anime adaptation, which if anyone deserves adapting, or adapting, that's the word, not adaptating, adapting this manga, it's the people who created Godzilla and the kaiju genre as we know it today.
So yeah, definitely if you get a chance, maybe check it out, read the first chapter in a review somewhere, and Kaiju number 8. I like it. It's kaiju media, and it has a different approach. So
if you're looking for something to read, and you've already read the Kamen Rider manga and the Gorenger manga, and you're looking, you got that itch for manga, and you're like, oh, these are really good, I want another good manga. I recommend picking up the first volume. It's like $10, and it's like 7 chapters or so. So it's the general normal manga length. So give it a shot. You know, I thought it was really good. And if you don't want to read it, maybe give the anime a shot when it comes out. It'll probably be a while.
I don't know. I mean, they're already like, I think 4 editions deep in Japanese. Is that right?
No, there's 6 or 7.
6 or 7. Yeah, there's a bunch, but we're just now getting the second one. The thing is,
Right.
they'll probably do the Overlord thing where they release content at first that can that'll go past where it is in English, if they do make the anime. But then at some point the books will catch up. That's what I have the prediction they'll probably do.
Well, Overlord is a light novel series, am I right?
It's everything at this point. It has an anime.
But initially,
it was a light novel series, and the light novel series, in my opinion, is the best way to get Overlord.
Right. So what I'm saying though is, translating manga is a faster process than translating a novel. You get me?
Yeah, no, I get you for sure.
So I don't think they're going to have to do that for this, like what Overlord ended up doing. But speaking of manga, moving on, Stonebot Comics, which I've never heard of.
Me neither, honestly.
Have gotten the rights to release the Kamen Rider Kuuga manga for the first time with English translation, which that's amazing. I can't wait to read that. I know you said that it's not as good.
The Kuuga one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't read it, but a lot of the folks in the writer circle I've spoken to who have read it, it's like, it's not the best. Like, as far as like the representation of like Kuuga goes, you're definitely gonna want to watch the show over reading it. But you know, there is good writer mangas though, so hopefully it does open the door. Like, I would really like to see Kamen Rider Spirits personally.
I personally want to read the Black manga. That's the one I'm most excited about because it's also written by Shotaro Ishinomori, and apparently it's got the same vibe as the original Kamen Rider manga. So I enjoyed the original Kamen Rider manga so much, I really want to read the
vibe
Black manga because it's supposed to feel like that.
Well, that makes a lot of sense because a lot of the original like Showa writers, they all kind of had the same vibe, you know?
Right.
It's just that I mean, of course, there was differences between them, but there was a lot more like solid framework in that genre for the writer at the time. That's
right.
since Kuuga happened. I mean, I guess because the biggest departure in that one is Amazon, but well, Amazon didn't do well, and that's a topic for another day.
Right.
But yeah. No.
They also said, now I don't know if these are going to be like Western style comics or if they're going to be manga. I'm not entirely sure. They just said comics, so I don't know what they mean by that. But they're also planning to release original comics based on Kamen Rider Zero-One.
You see, I'm very interested into what that means.
Right.
Especially since, like, Zero-One is a show that I was near and dear to me, and it got ruined by COVID.
I agree.
I say ruined. It got weakened by COVID. I still think it ended all right.
Right. You can definitely see the seams. Well, we've mentioned this before, but you can definitely see the seams that they had to stitch it together due to COVID a lot more than, let's say, like Ultraman Zett, which you can barely see the effects. You know, they were able to deal with it a lot better.
Precisely. But yeah, so I'm wondering, like, if I almost would hope that if they are doing it says original comics, they would do like new Zero-One content. Like, it's still the same thing, but maybe they get to like actually tell and flesh out the story they wanted to, and they could do it unrestricted.
I don't know. I don't know if it's going to be Western style comics or if it's going to be a manga. I don't know if it's going to be an adaptation of the show or if it's going to be original story. I don't know.
I mean, it could.
We don't know any of this stuff. It's all speculation at this point, so I don't really know where.
I mean, it could even end up like the double manga where it was like new content that was like post show, which would be neat.
Yeah, and that's supposed to be coming out too.
Yeah, the Futo PI show, right?
Right, and it's supposed to be getting a manga, an anime, as well.
I'm hyped.
Yeah.
I almost wish I was a voice actor, because then I would try out to be Shotaro.
Right. Moving on, we also got some interesting releases coming from Media Blasters, which I've heard of them before. They're a smaller, I think they're smaller, but they kind of release the not major releases, kind of like how Mill Creek does, and they've teased that they're going to release U.S. physical releases of the Kamen Rider films Kamen Rider J, Kamen Rider Zeto or Zio. It's Zeto, but the letters Zio. Shin Kamen Rider. That's the gross one, not the new Kamen Rider Shin.
The one where he's essentially just a mutated Bugman.
Right, and then Kamen Rider the First and Kamen Rider the Next. So they plan to release all of these films. They didn't specify Blu-ray or DVD, but we're supposed to be getting a physical release for the U.S. with these. Which
I think it's interesting we're getting all the Showa movies pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much. It's not the Kamen Rider content I'm looking for, but any amount of it being released is a positive.
I mean, it's definitely not the content I want either, but it's definitely content I will purchase because, hey, if it does well and this is the bad stuff, well, I say bad, the stuff that I don't want, then we'll get the stuff I do want, maybe, or they'll at least consider it.
Did you grab the Blu-ray for Zero-One yet?
Oh my gosh, I keep forgetting to do that. No, I haven't. Thank you for reminding me. I'll have to do that when I eventually get money because
I think it's $39 on Amazon right now.
Cool, I'll have to buy that when I get money.
Yeah, I get it, but
Swooce isn't poor, but Swooce has a budget.
That's right. So that's the last bit of what I've got there, and I also kind of left a little time right here for in case you want to mention anything about Revice.
Okay, so I haven't been keeping up. Like, I've been very busy lately, so I'm actually very behind on lots of things. Like, Dawn Brothers, I've only seen the first episode, and the reason why is not because I haven't been trying to give Dawn Brothers a fair chance. I didn't like the first episode, but that being said, honestly, since the second episode came out and later, I just haven't had time for superhero time. Like, I've been that busy lately, and that's been a couple weeks. I think they're like on episode 5 by now, aren't they?
Right.
Yeah, something like that. 4 or 5 or 6, one of those. I don't even know. I'm behind.
Right, and we haven't spoke about it, but Dawn Brothers is the follow-up to Zenkaiger.
Now, as far as like Revice thus far from what I watched, I'm gonna just say it's not bad from the beginning, but it's a bit rough because there's a lot of complaints about Vice for numerous reasons, but some people just think like just purely character-wise, he's a bit over the top and too much because it almost feels like they're trying to force a new Momotaros on us from Den-O.
Right.
They honestly though, they figure him out. They don't have the formula right to begin with, but it does get there, and honestly, it gets better. Like I was saying, like it's rough, but it's watchable, and then it gets good. I just think it's a bit unfortunate. It does take them a few more episodes than I'd like for them to actually get it right. That being said, the show has some very wonderful side characters. Like, it's almost more interesting for the side characters at first, I would say. Like, it's still worth watching it for, like, everybody else in it, because I think they nail everybody else great.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't seen any of it, but I'm, just being involved in Toga Twitter and and paying attention to scans and whatnot. I'm aware tangentially of the general vibe of the show, as well as like the toys and stuff that they've got, but I haven't watched any of the show. And from my perception, now take this with a grain of salt, because with Twitter, you always get, there's a specific amount of people you're looking at. You're not, so there's a tendency of having like echo chambers of different of the same opinion. But from what I've noticed, you either really love it or you really hate it, and there's a lot of people who really hate it, and then there's a lot of people who really love it, and I haven't really seen many lukewarm opinions on it.
So my opinion's the most in the middle that you've seen so far.
Exactly.
Which honestly happens a lot.
That does happen quite a
like
lot.
I was the same way with Den-O. Like another supposedly polarizing writer, so I was like, it's all right.
Yeah.
Like I don't know how this keeps happening. It's like, oh no, people either love it or hate it. I think it's okay. And I'm not to say like he's like, oh well, do I just normally have in the middle opinions? I'm like, no, I don't. There are definitely certain ones that I get really excited for. Like, heck, right. I was just hyping up Zero-One a second ago, and then I will definitely say I hated Saber.
Right. So, that is, you're in the majority on that one.
Yes, I'm aware I'm in the majority on that one, and there is a reason for that. But
right.
that is for another time.
That's right. Well, that concludes basically what I've got as far as news is concerned. Was there anything else you wanted to add in?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I've already shamelessly plugged myself.
Right.
No, but no, not really. I don't think there's any like Toku related news that I know of that has come up that we didn't cover. So,
right.
Well, I guess there was one thing that it's kind of old news now. Like the O's movie came and went.
Right.
That's like, well, that's really whatever. Neither of us have seen it, and it's. We kind of missed the whole ballpark on that one, but hey, I mean, it's there. So if y'all didn't know, those got a 10th anniversary movie. So yeah.
That's right.
But other things like, I mean, I guess it's worth mentioning. And other than that, no, not really.
Right. Yeah, well, thank you for joining me with another episode of this.
Yes, and thank you to our wonderful audience for joining us for these past few minutes to talk about things in the world of Ultraman and other tokusatsu.
I've definitely missed it with everything that's been going on. I haven't been able to record, but I've been missing it, and I'm just glad to be back doing this, and I hope that we can keep up a at least somewhat regular schedule,
Yeah, I'm ready for
give or take a week or two, but if we can have at least some form of regular schedule, we can continue to build this podcast. We actually were building the podcast quite well right before my unfortunate unintentional hiatus. And our growth has pretty much died at this point. So we're trying to
so we're pretty much starting from square
it,
one again. But hey,
get that momentum built up again, and maybe we can get this ball rolling to some really cool
everyone.
stuff.
Everyone, like, slap that bell, ring that ding-a-ling, tell your friends, because we're not dead. A to Zett is alive, brand new form. Not really.
That's right. Not really, but. We'll eventually get there, but we're still trying to figure this thing out. We're currently driving a car where the wheels aren't attached, and we're having to throw the wheels from left to right on each side of the car just to keep getting down the road.
We're driving a car where we're steering it with a rowboat oar.
That's right.
Luckily, right now we're downhill, so we go faster.
That's right. So go ahead and like us on YouTube, subscribe to the YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter, and I haven't asked it about this at any point, but if you I found out that if you give us a 5-star review on whatever platform you review podcasts, that apparently helps getting the podcast in front of more viewers. So if you review the podcast, that tells the algorithm
just
that
give us a little 5-star rating, maybe a short little it's good, we liked it. I like the part where they talk about lots of stuff that's not not Ultraman.
Yeah, and that tends to happen a lot, especially with these episodes. But yeah, thank you for joining us. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being there, and we hope to be back more recent than the last time. So
yes, we're gonna try to go back to our monthly schedule though. I mentioned a daily schedule before, which was a joke, but our more manageable monthly schedule, I think, right?
That's what we're going to aim for, and it might not be like every 4 weeks. It might be 5 weeks, 6 weeks, just depending on our schedules, but we're trying our best to make it more regular in the future. We're making our podcast eat Fiber One bars. It's got to get more regular.
Boo.
Pooh.
No, stop.
Okay. Did you have anything you wanted to send us out on?
Let's see here. Our heart goes out to those of you struggling, and just know that no matter what happens, your 2 Toku guys down here are pulling for you. And you will make it through, and we believe in you.
That's right. And be sure to watch out for the next one.